Belgium is considered a microcosm of Europe's political spectrum. So here on the brief from Brussels, we're taking a look at how the recent elections highlighted that, where the far right succeeded in Flanders, the socialists did well in Wallonia. But firstly, we're taking a look at the green wave that happened here in Brussels. In Brussels, the Greens emerged as the leading political force in regional elections this May. It's the first time the environmentalists have done so well, and citizens in the Belgian capital have been instrumental in this swing towards green politics. Bertrand lives near a main road and has taken the pollution problem into his own hands. This is a homemade device to measure fine particles, those emissions from the town. So what's useful about this is that it allows me in real time on the internet to follow all the stations measuring air quality. Brussels has 11 public measuring stations, which isn't enough according to Bertrand. Air quality is very bad in Brussels, and sometimes several days, even weeks of the year, it's extremely dangerous. In the shared garden outside Bertrand's apartment, families of all walks of life are able to use the compost heap. All the neighbours pitch in, and they all benefit from the fruits of their labour. The garden's success is not just measured by its growing ability, but also by the capacity to bring people together. You should try it. You'll see that food can bring us together. We often don't speak the same language, but we swap recipes and we can say how this vegetable is used where I'm from. Why don't you try it? It's true that it creates links between people, making them closer. Excel is one local council in Brussels where the green wave washed over. For the local mayor, green goals reach right into the heart of big city living. Climate change, the climate crisis, has filtered right down into the urban environment. For the Greens, it's not just that climate is a priority, but also social affairs, living together. We are openly for living together. That doesn't fear the other, the foreigner, for those who don't look like us. And we are more towards openness and tolerance. They may have done well in Brussels, but a question mark hangs over whether the new electoral strength of the Greens will translate into widespread political power in Belgium. Here on the brief from Brussels, we're continuing our look at how Belgian politics is a spectrum of European politics as a whole. Last time we looked at how the Greens have succeeded in elections here in Brussels. Next time we're going to be looking at the left-wing factions in Wallonia. But for this time on the brief from Brussels, we're looking at the far-right parties which succeeded in Flanders. Vlaams Radicaal, the pub for supporters of the far-right Vlaams Belang party in Rosselaar, is often a place of discussion about immigration, Islam and divisions in the country. In this West Flanders town of 60,000, the far-right party won with nearly 24% of the vote.
No, the Islam is a danger for our country, for all Europe. So we have to fight that. We have to fight the Islam with the democratic medals, or you know what you call that, the democratic way of fighting something, not with guns or violence.
In the Flemish region as a whole, Vlaams Belang became the second force after the Flemish separatist N-VA party. The two nationalistic forces are supported by more than 40% of people around here.
I'm not a Nazi, I'm not a fascist, I'm not any of these things which we are called. In fact, what we do is we put our people first.
The perception of mass immigration in the region helped their campaign. Both legal and illegal migration surged in the region.
The pace at which our region is getting diverser and diverser is going too fast for us and for a lot of people, not only for my political party but also for the inhabitants here, our voters. People experience that their cities are changing too fast.
While criminality was at an 18-year low last year in Belgium, the perception of insecurity remains a vote swinger for many.
What kind of future you want for Belgium?
A future for Flanders, maybe I would say. I don't see a future in Belgium as a country. I would like to see Flanders as a country of its own and to be a safe working Flemish guy, and where it's possible to go out and have a drink or something without having to look behind you.
Flanders, the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, makes up 60% of the country's population. In terms of economy, there's a wide gap between the French-speaking Wallonia region. Flemish productivity per capita is about 13% higher, and wages are about 7% higher. Vlaams Belang wants to stop subsidies for the poorer regions by declaring independence.
If you're in a marriage and it doesn't work, you only have to pay the bills and your spouse is not willing to do or cooperate in any way anymore, then it's maybe better to get a divorce.
Next time on The Brief from Brussels, we'll be taking a look at that left-wing and socialist faction which succeeded in Wallonia. In the French-speaking Wallonia part of Belgium, the left-wing policies of councillors like Gaëtan Banguise are driving votes. This southern region is economically weaker than the Flemish north, having suffered from deindustrialisation. At the social level, what happens is that we have a city with a lot of poverty. Many people have difficulties, and so our main concern is to find funds to redevelop this city. Wallonia was a thriving economy during the industrial era. 30 years ago, the last coal mine was closed, and since then many industries have left the region. Now it has one of the highest levels of unemployment in Belgium. In the last elections, the far-left Partij du Travail made an impressive breakthrough, up over 13%, the communists coming second only to the mainstream socialists. From Wallonia, the PTB is sending 7 deputies into the federal parliament. We want to cut the salary of ministers and deputies in half so that we can really compare their standard of living with the standard of living of the average citizen. They say they'll fight the political establishment and defend the rights of workers and real people.
La question c'est de savoir, est-ce que tout l'argent, tout ce qu'on produit comme richesse va servir au bonheur de la grande majorité des gens, de 9% des gens, ou va servir à enrichir quelques personnes?
But Belgium's fracture between the north and south goes beyond the economy. There's also a problem of identity. In Flanders, from an early age, the Flemish are educated to be Flemish first and foremost, whereas here in Wallonia we're rather linked to our city. We're from Charleroi, Liège, Namur, but above all, we're Belgian. But it's the economic concerns of voters that saw the left succeed in May's elections here. Tough negotiations for the formation of a national government are beginning. In 2010, it took 541 days.